The first thing to look at is their current glasses prescription. This tells you what they're used to, but it's also important to know how often they wear these or how old the prescription is. Also, pay attention to this cylinder here because we'll come back to this. The next thing to look at is the manifest refraction because this will tell us what cylinder power for the ICL to use. If there's any discrepancy between the manifest and the glasses, we can look at cornea readings, and in this case, the Pentacam is closer to the manifest, so we'll go with the manifest. And since we're deciding cylinder power, we want to make sure the visual acuity is good with this refraction. Next, we'll look at the cycloplegic refraction and compare that to their glasses, and by comparing them, we see that there's about half a diopter of habitual accommodation, which lets us know what they're used to and helps us choose a target. Lastly, we'll look at the contact lens over refraction, which we do on anyone over -6, and it's kind of the gold standard for sphere selection. It's very important to make sure the visual acuity is good if we're going to trust this for sphere. So basically, these values are what we're about to use to choose the ICL power. Here are the calculations as displayed in Stella for each of those refractions on one page, but let's look at them individually. We're going to pick the cylinder power off the manifest refraction that either reduces it the most or makes it the smallest without flipping the axis. Now we go to the contact lens over refraction and we choose the cylinder power from the manifest, even if that's not necessarily what reduces the expected cylinder the most for this calculation. To pick the power, we know they have about half a diopter of accommodative reserve, so let's look at the 11.5. We're going to also assume a plus 0.12 hyperopic adjustment. So when we add that plus 0.12 to the result of the 11.5, we get 0.34, which is awesome, well within that habitual range, so this will be great distance vision for the patient. Putting it all together, we can choose the minus 11.5, which really comes from the contact lens over refraction, with the 150 toric from the manifest. Now on the left eye, we can experiment for a second. We can choose that +1 cylinder power, but notice that flips them to against the rule. So let's see what that would be like if it was just a sphere. So sphere results in this plus 0.59. That's livable. So actually, we probably can leave that alone, especially because it's with the rule. So comparing that back to the contact lens over refraction with no cylinder power, we have to choose one that accommodatively balances the eyes, so it looks like the 11's great in this case. And then doing our math again, assuming that plus 0.12 hyperopic adjustment, this eye will come out about the same at plus 0.4, which we know is within the reserve and will be a great outcome. So altogether, this seems like a great refraction for great distance vision in this particular patient based on these refractions. You can see how nuanced this is and how all the values didn't just come from one refraction.